Welcome back to BVarsity Live. Zach Ewing, Trevor Horn here in the TBC Media downtown studios. We have the East High Blades in the house. They are the 4-0 East High Blades. How about a little applause for that? You guys can applaud.
The only 4-0 team in the county.
That's right. We like that. David Finucci, the mastermind behind it, is here, along with his running back Ray Marquez and Ricardo Mendoza. Coach, how'd you do it? You've already quadrupled your win total. Now, it helps that you only won one last year if we're talking about quadrupling, but 4-0 start, obviously, this is as much as you could have dreamed and maybe more at this point.
Well, there's really no secret bullet to this thing. It's been a lot of hard work, and it's been put in by these guys down here and the rest of the team. We've gotten here really through our defense has created a lot of turnovers for us, and offensively, we're yet to turn over the football. Knock on wood. And so
that'll win you a lot of games, though.
Yeah, so if you're not turning over the ball and you're creating turnovers, limiting penalties, then that's been a lot of our success.
When a lot of that is, that's very impressive in 4 games to not have a turnover. Even more impressive when you think that you've got a sophomore quarterback in Laura being able to do that. How much of that kind of is predicated on him and Ray over here and their ability to just protect the ball and him kind of learning the offense very quickly?
Well, a lot of it is. Raymond has had over 90 carries already this year. So he's been a workhorse. We're feeding him the ball a lot, and he's taking care of the football. And that's been really important to us. On the other hand, Richard, we haven't asked him to do a lot, but he's been very efficient with it, making good decisions and making smart throws.
Not 90-plus carries and no fumbles, Ray. And again, we'll knock on wood for you. But
he's going to hit his weight total come league play.
Is there a secret to that? Is it high and tight? Are you focused on that at all, ball security, or is that just a natural thing you've been good at?
It was a natural thing. I've always played running back throughout the years, so just always keeping it high and tight.
Now, one thing that's kind of cool about this track season, we talk about Connor Bruce at Garces, your old school coach who is having a tremendous amount of success. It's not that often you see guys become stars on the track and then become stars in the football field. A lot of times it seems like it's the other way around, at least in my experience. But you have Connor at Garces, and then Ray, obviously, you were a star on the track, at least in my mind. That's where I think of you first. And now all of a sudden here you are as a football player. Were you a football player first growing up, or was it track? How does that play itself out?
I was normally a football player.
Okay.
I played it since I was in the 4th grade, and I just started track when I hit high school.
Say, heck, I'm fast. I'll go try it.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe I'm off base on that, but that's where
I think Connor was the same way too. But a lot of times too is that you're out there on an island when you're on the track, where on the football field you're kind of one of 22 guys. So I think the whole thing is kind of predicated a little bit differently, because you look at a guy like Curtis Threckeld, who was a great football player, but obviously a little bit more decorated on the track. Connor, the same way, where I think last year he was kind of injured in football. Then he comes around. Same thing with Ray. Ray was a starting running back last year, but on a 1-win team, people tend to forget about you.
Yeah.
You hate to say it, but then he comes around and is one of the best sprinters in the county and one of the best sprinters in the section. That's kind of where it comes from.
That's definitely true. 4-0 gets you a lot more notice than 1-8 does. Ricardo, how much difference is the attitude around the program this year compared to last?
It's very different. We have a whole team full of leaders now, because as last year we didn't have that much seniors, but this year we have a bunch of seniors who are willing to lead.
Was there a conversation amongst the seniors to say, hey, this is our time to sort of step up, this is our year?
After the experience of last year, we said we wouldn't allow that again.
Was that right after the season, during the summer?
During the off-season, working out, everyone just took command.
Did you have to say something, Coach, or have you noticed the leadership right off the bat?
I've noticed it right off the bat, and it was obviously something that we did talk about, and it was something that we knew we needed to have. But it wasn't hard to get these guys motivated to do that. It was something that they took upon themselves.
Had you eyed this year as a possible turnaround season?
I know
you
yes
never
and
know.
No. You saw it coming, and we're here. Like I said, there's nothing magical about it. It's been a lot of hard work, but you've seen it coming through our lower programs as well. Mm-hmm. These guys had success as freshmen. They were a 1-loss team on the JVs, and so it's been really a program-wide development. And the coaches on the freshman and JV levels did a great job as well. And so it's something we need to do. We need to really develop from within our program.
Ray, how have your expectations for the season changed now that you're 4-0? You start thinking about bigger and better goals at some point, right?
Yeah, of course, we're always going to think we can do better, but we're just going to take one game at a time and just see what we can do.
Coaches always nod their head when players say that. They like that. They like that.
They've heard it a few times.
Yeah. Ricardo, how about you? I mean, yeah, obviously you guys have McFarland this week, which we'll talk about in a minute, and then Foothill, and then you get into the SYL, which is always very tough. What are your goals going forward? I mean, why stop now, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously our goal is to win, but as Ray said and Coach taught us, we're going to take one game at a time.
Coach McFarland this week kind of came up last minute. This was supposed to be your bye week. McFarland lost the game when Fraser Mountain goes down to 8-man football. Trevor and I were talking about it before the break. How do you weigh the pros and cons of that as far as having to play another game? You could use the rest. I'm sure the bodies could use the rest a little bit. Same time, you want to keep the momentum going, and you want to help another school out as well.
Sure. You know, when Ken Chapman came to me a few weeks ago about it, and we sat down and talked about the pros and cons, and at the time, you know, you're thinking, boy, I hope we don't need that week off,
right,
you know, when you get there. And thank goodness we've gotten to this point and we don't need it, you know, as far as injuries. We're fairly healthy. You know, and so it's kind of nice. We have some momentum right now, so it's an opportunity to keep that momentum rolling.
And how about you guys? I know sometimes a week off is welcome because your body's just beat up and you need it, but we're still relatively early in the season. Would you guys rather just go out and play than have a week off?
Most definitely. Keeps the rhythm going. Everything just feels normal.
How about you, Ray?
Week of practice.
Yeah.
I would rather play, keep the mojo going.
It's definitely going right now.
Yeah.
David, I mean, obviously you've been around football in Kern County for a long time. East, over 75 years of history. How much has the community kind of come to you and said, hey, thanks for bringing this back, or thanks for the guys for bringing this back and making, you know, East football relevant again?
Well, you know what? The community, the Eastside community has always been there. They're very supportive. Since day one when I first took the job, they've been there. We have the Blade Football Club, and they're an alumni group who are around and supporting the program. And so, you know, we've always had tremendous support from the East High community. Right now, just the excitement's a little bit higher, and everyone is just excited about where we are. But you know what? The support's always been great.
That's a cool place to watch a game, especially when it's a big game, when things are going well too. And I remember, Coach, your press conference introduced as East High coach, and I remember you talking about the community and the tradition and the history and how important it was to bring that back. Have you sensed that from some alumni and some former players and things as you have started out well this year?
Yeah, you know what? They've been around and they're excited about it. And, you know, I'm glad that these guys have the opportunity to be part of it. You know, it has a long and rich tradition. And, you know, I just feel like we're just there for part of it. We're not reinventing the wheel or anything. East High has been a very successful program. And, you know, maybe lately we haven't been where we'd like to be, but it's great to be part of something that we feel like we're turning around.
Yeah, I mean, lately, certainly it hasn't been there. In fact, I'm thinking that game against Highland last week, you both go in 3-0. That's the biggest game for East High in 9, 10, 11 years. I mean, you have to go back a ways to find a game. Not that it was a non-league game. I mean, it wasn't crucial or anything, but a 3-0 versus 3-0, how much fun was the build-up to that game, Ray, and then to play in it?
It was extremely fun because we've known each other for years.
Sure.
We've played each other for years. We all know what we can do. So being able to play another team as good as Highland, that's 3-0, and be able to win, it just felt amazing for us.
Well, and that's the thing, too. Like, Ricardo, I think a lot of people around the state kind of realize that, you know, now that we're in this new playoff system, everybody wants to kind of move out of town and play bigger because you don't have to go undefeated to make it in the state playoffs anymore. And these backyard rivalries are kind of getting lost, but we're still seeing them here in town. For you, Ricardo, I mean, do you have buddies that were on that Highland team that you're going against? And, you know, when that final whistle blows, you know, you're going against as enemies all for, 48 minutes, and then you guys are buddies again, right? I mean,
Yeah.
did you talk to them afterwards about how fun that was?
I actually went to Highland my freshman year. I transferred to East.
There
I
you
had
go.
tons of buddies on there. The rivalry building up, like going into the game,
Yeah.
it was very fun. So, after we got the win, it's still kind of weird though.
I mean, at that point, you become friends again, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of shake hands and say, "Well, we got you this time." And of course, it's your senior year, so you get to have you get to have bragging rights forever, unless you run into each other in the playoffs, then you got to take care of them again. But I'm thinking about, and I understand the 1 week at a time mentality, and that's how you have to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and go in the South Yosemite League, and this is kind of crazy. I don't think any of us would have guessed this. You guys have 4 victories. The other 5 teams in the league combined have 4 victories.
Yeah.
Tehachapi's yet to win. The other 4 have 1 win each.
Yep.
And which is crazy when you think about what Ridgeview's done the last couple of years, what Independence has been able to do.
Golden Valley's
Tehachapi,
reached
Golden Valley,
the quarterfinals last 2 years.
Semifinals last year, yeah. do you have a different expectation going into the league, Coach, or have you even looked at that? I mean, do you see Tehachapi? My God, they're 0-3. How did that happen?
Well, I see the records and you see that, but really, if you even look back at last week, outside of Tehachapi, everybody in the league won. Mm-hmm. Okay, so to look at where they are, it's where they're going to be weeks down the road when we have to play them, and Tehachapi's not going to stay at with no wins, and so it's just a matter of time before they get things up and running. And everybody else in the league is moving forward as well. So we've got to keep going in the right direction because it's only getting tougher from here.
But
and the crazy part about it that was the first win for Golden Valley, for West, and for Independence last week too.
And Ridgeview was off, and they've only got one win as well. I mean, but you do have to feel like you're in the mix, maybe you always felt like you were, and maybe these guys did too. But why not us? I mean, is that sort of the feeling as well?
No, definitely. And you know what, when last year when we were at this situation and we were at this point of the season and we didn't have as many wins, we still always kept saying, guys, come league, everything starts over again. And so we find ourselves in this situation now, but you know what? Come league, everything's going to start over again.
You could be 6-0 and it doesn't matter,
exactly.
Right? When league starts. So, how do you guys feel? Is there a game in the rest of the schedule? You still have the rivalry game with Foothill, and then the league season. A game you're looking forward to, Ray, in particular?
Actually, no.
It's just
a game. I'm still going to keep taking one game at a time and just keep going and going and going.
How about you, Ricardo? Can I bait you into giving me one?
Every game's a big game to me. Every game I want to win. Every game's competition. So every game's a big game to me.
So the road trip up to McFarland this week. You got a road trip coming up to Tehachapi in a few weeks as well, and then the rest of them. And it should be mentioned, the rest of the league 4 wins. There's some tough schedules in there. Tehachapi's played Garces and Bakersfield Christian, and Ridgeview's played Liberty and Stockdale and Frontier. So that's those are tough schedules as well. Biggest difference for you. Let's start with you, Ray. Between last year and this year, for you individually, what are you feeling different as a senior?
This year we've had more people step up as a leader, and last year we had like little groups, and we didn't really mix well as a team. This year we've come together more as a team, as a family, as a brotherhood, and we just click together.
And I would think when things don't go well, that's when you really see those groups come about, and there's some shouting and some infighting and things like that, right? How about you, Ricardo? What's the biggest difference for you personally between last year and this year?
We became more of a family than just teammates. Because last year there was a lot of individuals. This year we're playing as a unit, and you can tell on the field.
Coach, and again, you said in some ways you saw this coming. You don't know until they start playing games against other teams exactly how things will come together. What's been the biggest revelation for you in this 4-0 start?
Well, I think it's been their continued focus and determination every week. I always tell them is that Friday night is a culmination of the work all week. It's a reflection of how we've prepared all week. Mm-hmm. And so if we're able to go out and play well, it's not by accident. It's because of the work that we've put in. They continue to show up every day and work hard. And that's really been the most gratifying thing is that they're not resting on their laurels. They're willing to come out every day and keep working. And so this week has been kind of an off week a little bit. We had a heat delay on Monday. Mm-hmm. Tuesday we had the bad air day, and it really limited in what we were able to do. Wednesday was really our only kind of full practice for the week. And so, but they've handled the week well, and we've prepared well. So that's what I'm really most impressed with. And it goes back to things that they talked about, the leadership and the maturity, and I think that's gone a long way to help us.
And sometimes that's difficult when you're winning, right? I mean, it's hard to stay focused when all the stuff's going on. And
sure.
Hey, we're 3-0, we're 4-0.
It is hard. I mean, it's easy for me. I can sit back and scream and yell at them, and or continue to push them and motivate them. But as young high school students, sometimes that's difficult. But they've been handling it very well.
And Delano, North, Miramonte, Highland, check off those boxes. Now you got McFarland this week. So congratulations on the start, gentlemen. And we will be seeing much more of you this year, I'm sure.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Coach David Finucci, Ray Marquez, and Ricardo Mendoza of the East High Blades. When we come back, we'll have Stockdale golfer Lexi Keene in the house here on BVarsity Live. Back right after this.